We began with a little bit of slice of life, but then we got down to business. Let's check out chapter 3. Hello and welcome back to the couch. We saved you a seat. My name is Luke and today we're checking out chapter 3 of Fugitive Telemetry. Yep, this is the 6th book in the Murderbot Diaries series. We're doing chapter by chapter reactions and reviews. If you know, you know. We skipped 5, moved on to 6. If you'd like to follow along, you could just, buy the book on Amazon, utilizing the link in the description of this video. And it also supports the channel. You can support the channel also by joining the membership. It's $2 a month, and frankly, you might get a chapter or something early, but it really just helps me buy a cup of coffee and just supports what we're trying to do here, which is tell good stories and chat about what we see. So let's get into it. We've got another 2-part chapter here. We've been doing this occasionally. I'm not super used to it. It's not the kind of storytelling I'm accustomed to. It's like we go into a break and out of a break and into a break and out of a break, and it's opposite of the chapter's ending, but we have some slice of life going on, okay? We've got that Murderbot's a little bit insecure about some of the information that's drifting out from different people and different things. He had his image caught of it while it was with Mensa and it's shared around, and while Murderbot doesn't think security did it, Murderbot thinks they could have done it. You find out also that Dr. Bardwaj is doing a documentary on constructs and is interviewing Murderbot about how it feels being a construct, which I thought was pretty cool, to be honest with you, because it felt like a therapy session. Right? You got to hear the empathy from Dr. Bardwaj as Murderbot was conveying its feelings about being a construct, about not being free, about being free, about having an identity crisis, not having a governor module and whatnot. It also did some data mining with Rati, which is basically what it was doing before with the survey teams and whatnot. So we love that Murderbot is integrating into a system and they're kind of welcoming it with open arms. It's not just swashbuckling through the cosmos, avoiding cameras, hacking everything. Murderbot's getting to live a little bit, which is kind of nice. I love a little bit of slice of life stuff. We all know I'm a big anime fan, and those slice of life episodes are important and thoughtful and creative. Another example is in Avengers Ultron, maybe my favorite scene in all of Avengers and all of the MCU. So they're sitting around the table, they try to lift Thor's hammer. It's a phenomenal scene. It's probably the best scene in the movie, and it's my favorite scene in all of the MCU. So love a good slice of life moment where Murderbot's kind of just living, right? It's got its obligations to Mensa where it's making sure that Mensa is safe. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. But then we get down to business. Got to kind of figure out what's going on, right? Got to ID this dead person. Got to figure out how it got there. Was this dead person related to Great Chris? We don't have any evidence so far. Great Chris's motive of operation has been recently to sabotage systems and to force people into thinking that it was other sec units it was the problem, or other companies that was an issue. Sabotage is always the name of the game when it comes to Great Chris. Murderbot thinking, hey, these clothes aren't normal. This person is probably staying in the transient housing. Now, I don't know where you all are from. I live in Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. is infamous for its transient nature. People move here and then move away 3 or 5 years later. It's kind of just like, they get tired of it. They're not into the political atmosphere. To be frank with you, it's like hanging out with a bunch of student body presidents all the time, and it's exhausting. And if that's not the life for you, then it is not the life. It's weird and exhausting, but that's part of it. And this preservation has a transient area where people come and stay a couple of days, few weeks, and then they ship off to other places, which wouldn't be a new concept. It wouldn't be alien to them to do that. So Murderbot goes to these hostels, and that's when we're introduced to this character, I think, right here, right? I thought this was a combat bot in an initial chapter. It is not. That's the bot for the hostel that basically runs the hostel. And so Murderbot is able to communicate via queries and pings to this thing and really kind of try to figure out what's going on. But once again, Murderbot is told everyone it wasn't going to hack everything, and also that it couldn't do some of the things that it was more accustomed to doing, right? It had to be a little bit more human. So it requests some information. Hey, which rooms are empty? Pretty interesting moment here, trying to navigate through the queries, trying to get around some of the regulations and ask appropriate questions. It allowed Murderbot to be escorted through the hostel and to see the remnants that it asked for. Remember, asked for of these empty rooms, because this robot can do that. And it says, I just want to see the clothes, right? Because of the clothes. The clothes are the tool, they're the MacGuffin of this first part of this book, this novella. The scarf. Interesting. So what Murderbot does here is pretty smart. Takes a picture of the scarf, goes through several rooms, 17 rooms, takes a picture of the scarf, can't do an on-site DNA analysis, but it can send information to the security team to do a DNA analysis, and thus really get a clean picture of if this is the dead person, the victim. But we do get a name, and the name is Lutrin Male. So it's a little bit fishy how they found it, and the fact that there was only a scarf, still fishy. Frankly, the robot at the end wanted to help Murderbot more. Murderbot made another friend. I hope we run back into this creature again, this robot, because I think it's an interesting concept to have bots running things and Murderbot to be able to communicate with them intimately. Intimate's the wrong word. If you can think of the right word, please put it in the comments. But essentially, Murderbot's able to communicate with them and get them to do what it wants. The robot, though, does ask Murderbot if it wants to see the injuries, and when this Lutrin showed up, and Murderbot's like, nah, I'm good, and then proceeds to leave. Right. So essentially, we don't have enough evidence. And I know I'm doing a recap here, but a lot happened in this chapter. This was a much larger chapter than the other two. I think it's almost as large as both of them combined, the first two. But we get a lot of information here. But not enough. Not enough to create a whole report about it. So Murderbot sends the information it gets through the feed to the security team and Mensa and Indah, and it begins to move to the dock, because it's kind of figured out how it can kind of retrieve information from the dock. And to do this, Murderbot had to sit in the feed. That means every person, augmented human, bot, even other things that can reach the feed are tapping the feed over and over and over again. So Murderbot had to find all of the ships and then communicate with each one differently in order to listen. That sounds mind-numbing, does it not? Anyway, it gets through 57%. It finds a ship that there's some error codes and it's peculiar. It's like, why are you here? What are you doing here, dude? And this ship can kind of communicate a little bit better. It pings, it's salutations. It's not quite as sophisticated as art, but as sophisticated as a cargo ship. And Murderbot sees some error codes coming from this ship. Jumps up, goes towards it, and needs to get inside because it knows there's something wrong. The ship knows, and Murderbot knows there's something wrong, and no one knows except for these two, right? The ship just doesn't have the capacity to communicate that to the security team. Why? That's Murderbot's problem, but the ship's problem is it can't communicate. So we're gonna go try to figure it out, but Murderbot just can't break into a ship, right? Murderbot needs help. Murderbot looks around. Who can help me? None of the team in the council, none of the group on the survey team, none of them can help him. The only two free people to help them. that's the end of the chapter. We don't know who it is. Obviously, I did read ahead a little bit just to see who it is, and it's hilarious. But yes, that was kind of the end of the chapter. We're finally into the fun stuff. Okay. I'm interested to see where this goes. You all know me. I believe in massive conspiracies. Like Illuminati stuff. Like, I believe in that kind of stuff when it comes to storytelling. I think it makes it pretty compelling when your protagonist steps into a world that becomes so much grander than it's even conceived to be before that. So I'm into that kind of thing. None of the other books had moved on to that higher level of organization and thoughtfulness that I'm talking about with the Illuminati and whatnot. But I am excited to see what's on the ship. I'm excited to see what happens here. Because it could go many ways. It could go, hey, we're going to try to blame this ungoverned sect unit for the death of this person. It's going to be Grey Chris. It's going to be one of the other security systems in book 4. It's going to be Indah is involved. It's going to be a bunch of different things. It could go either way, and I'm excited to kind of jump back into it. So tell me what you thought about this chapter in the comments below. Once again, if you want to follow along, click the link in Amazon, buy the book. You can also just buy whatever, you know, it helps us out. And also memberships, please don't spend your last dollar on us. Not that important. It just helps us out. Okay. But I think that's it. So till next time, later, taters.